Hi everyone, I'm Liz and welcome back to Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch. Hi everyone, welcome back to my weekly craft roundup. My name is Liz and I am here to share with you everything that I have been making for the past week. This past week was another fun summer family-filled week and of course work, but besides all the work I had to do, I also had some fun get-togethers with my sisters and my mom, and we had a little pool party over here. My sister Lynn and her kids are still in town visiting, so we've just been hanging out and having a good time, and I have been pretty monogamous in terms of my crafts, although I did have a pretty big finish. I don't know if you've noticed, but I have on a new shirt today. We'll get to that. Also, Lynn did start knitting that new sweater that she got yarn for in the last video. I'll share her little progress picture and maybe I can get her to come film with me next weekend before they head back home. She and her family are in Houston right now visiting her in-laws, so So, Mel, if you're watching this, we need to give everybody your knitting updates next week before you're gone. I also got to see my cousin Abby this weekend. She has a new, well, I think he's 7 or 8 months old baby, Wesley. He is the one I made the picnic patchwork quilt for last year. That is the kind of first quilt pattern I kind of wrote. It's really just 2 simple blocks offset, but I made up a little free quilt tutorial, and the quilt I made in the video was the one for Wesley, and I hadn't seen him in a few months, and it was so great to spend some time with him. He is an absolute little dumpling baby right now. He's so sweet. He's so happy to let us pass him around and snuggle on him, so love him. Speaking of picnic patchwork quilts, I have seen some really awesome versions that people have made and tagged me in on Instagram, and a couple people have sent me emails with their quilt finishes, which is amazing. And I would love to maybe in the next week or two share a little segment on all of the quilts people have made using that tutorial. So I have a question or a request. If anybody feels like emailing me or tagging me on Instagram in your picnic patchwork quilt, if you've made one, that would be awesome, because I'd really love to share a bunch of photos in the next week or two as I get back to working on my version. So I'm just gonna put it out there. My email address, my Instagram, they're in the description box below. So feel free to hit me up. Okay, let's get into the crafts, and we're gonna start with a finish. It's this. It's what I have on. It's my Cumulus Tee by Petite Knit. I'm pretty sure I started this back in April, and I made it like through the yoke, you know, maybe in a couple of weeks or so, maybe longer than that. And then it just sat kind of like right here for like a month or two without me touching it, because I was just tired of working on fingering weight yarn and size 2 needles, and I put it down for a long time, and then it fully turned into summer here, and I was like, I want to finish a summer garment in the appropriate season. That's the problem with me. I sometimes start projects in the right season and then don't finish them in time, and then just don't return to them for like a full calendar year. But with this one, I was determined. I wanted the finished product. Now that I have it, I'm so happy with it, and I'm feeling really accomplished that I got this done, even though it did take me several months. I think I started at the end of April and I finished it at the end of July. I did pretty much work on this almost every day in July, I think. So it really is not a quick knit if you're knitting the, I think this is the 5th size with fingering weight yarn, but that's okay. I got it done and I'm really happy. I just made my husband come out in the front yard with me and take photos, so hopefully I have some nice photos to be sharing with you. I knit this sweater, or this t-shirt, in the color Coral by Knitting for Olive Cotton Merino. It's a 70% cotton, 30% merino. Honestly, it definitely doesn't feel warm at all. It doesn't feel like a wool sweater. It is heavier than like a t-shirt, right? Because, I mean, it just is. It's a heavier weight than what you would find in a t-shirt, but I think it'd be really nice to wear to work. Probably not outside when it's 90 plus degrees for like a lot of time outdoors. I feel like this wouldn't be probably great for that setting, but I do plan to wear this to Flock. I was looking at the weather for Seattle and it seems like it's going to be in the 70s and 80s. And so I feel like this will be a totally appropriate little summer t-shirt. I'm just so happy with how it turned out. It's my first time doing I-cord edges. So it has I-cord on the v-neck, on the sleeve edgings, and then on the bottom hem. I was really impressed with how flat everything laid when I blocked it this weekend. Nothing is curling up anymore. I'm interested to see as I wear it if it like, you know, me getting kind of warm or sweaty like causes any of like the hems to roll or causes the fabric to do anything different. I've never actually made a garment out of cotton and merino yarn, so I don't really know what to expect. I mean, I've obviously watched people's videos and read reviews, but I think I anticipate a little bit of stretching, but I also think I can machine wash and dry this and it'll kind of snap back a little bit. So yeah, I'm just very excited. This is my first ever successful summer garment. So I'm just giving myself a big round of applause. I'm really happy. The only modifications I made are the sleeve length. The sleeves, it called for you to pick up the armhole and knit maybe like 4 or 5 inches, 6 inches. It calls for the sleeves to be elbow length. And so I knew I didn't want elbow length. I knew I wanted kind of like mid bicep. And so I ended up picking up and knitting only not even 2 inches, like maybe 1 3/4 inches before I did my bind off. So I definitely made my sleeves shorter. I also think that I was really between the 4th and 5th size, or the extra large and the 2XL size in this pattern by my bust measurement. And I went for the bigger one just because that's what I always do. I'm always afraid of things being too small. And I do really like the way this fits, but I do think the yoke is like maybe an inch or two deeper than it needs to be. So I think if it had been like, you know, where the yoke depth had been, I would have wanted to do more length on the sleeve. But because, you know, the shoulders and the yoke are a little bit bigger, the sleeve hangs down farther. So I didn't have to do as much on the sleeve, which was great because by the time I got to the sleeves, I was ready to be done knitting this. Let's see, I think I said I used US size 2 needles and then the recommended 1.5 for the edgings. Only modification was the sleeves. And yes, highly recommend this pattern. I think if you're doing it in some sort of plant-based like cotton, merino, or maybe a silk, do anticipate a little bit of growing, I think, with blocking. So maybe if you're between sizes, maybe consider sizing down, just depending on the fit you like. I think if I did this again, I might size a full size down, or go try to figure out the math to do an in-between size. But it's really not a big deal. Honestly, I really do like the way this fits. And yeah, I'm super happy with this, and I'm already kind of thinking about other summer garments and if I should really cast anything on, considering that it's about to be August. But I showed you guys these last week. I have 2 new colors of Knitting for Olive Cotton Merino, and yeah, now I kind of want to cast something else on. I was looking at the Cumulus Tee O-neck, which is basically the crew neck version of this. Would that be crazy? I just knit the V-neck version. Should I immediately cast on the crew neck? I don't know. Okay. Anyways, I think that's all I have to say about my Cumulus tee. It's done. I'm happy. Yay. Okay, we're going to keep the knitting train going with a possibly unsuccessful summer knit, but I don't really know yet. This project is the June top, also by Petite Knit, and this is what it looks like right now. Just a tube of blood orange pure silk by Knitting for Olive. So basically, as soon as I finished my Cumulus tee, I was like, I wonder if I could get done my tank top by Flock as well and have a second knitty outfit to be able to wear in the summer. So here's the deal. I definitely think I can get this done. I'm at about 11 inches of body and I need to be at 13.5 inches before I split for the underarms and the front and backs. And then once I split for the underarms front and back, it becomes so much less knitting because it's like a scoop neck front and back. So, you know, the few more inches I have to knit on the body would probably take me another 5-ish hours, I'm guessing. And then the straps, I feel like, will hardly take any time compared to the body. The problem I'm having and why this might be an unsuccessful summer knit is that I think it's going to be too big. Again, I'm knitting the 2XL size in this top. I got her stitch gauge and it does recommend 1 inch of positive ease, which to be honest, I thought was a slightly strange because I kind of feel like with tank tops, like fitted tank tops, I want them to be maybe like no ease or like -1 inch ease. But again, I was worried about it being too small. So I just went for it and I cast on the bigger size. And basically, when I ran out of my first ball of yarn, which was here, you can kind of see the yarn tail here, so like several inches ago, I put on, I added in an extra needle so I could try it on. And when I tried it on, it just felt too big. It just felt like I had 3 inches, 4 inches of positive ease around my waist. And yes, my waist is smaller than my bust measurement, so I expected it to be a little bit bigger around my waist, but not that big. And I was worried because I held it up around my chest and it was still like, it looked like it was going to be about 2 inches of positive ease across my chest. And that I just didn't want the tank top to be that big because I just didn't find, I don't feel like it would be super wearable if it's kind of a baggy tank top. So I think the best option would have been frog it and start over with the smaller size. But after knitting, 8 inches of this in the round, I didn't want to just frog it. And I'm not 100% sure it's going to be too big. Y'all can already tell where this is going. Like I'm just rationalizing to myself to not have to rip out, and I don't know if this plan's going to work. Basically, what I decided that I would do is start placing decreases in the side of the body every inch to narrow it down and make it tighter around my chest, and hope that it kind of fits more like A-line. So like it kind of fits and kind of flares slightly as it gets to my waist. Now I'm not decreasing all the way down to the neck size because I don't want it to be like I don't want a noticeable decrease or increase like when it's on me. So I think I'm decreasing 1/2 to 2/3 the stitches down towards that neck size, and I'm going to make adjustments to the straps just to pull everything back in. I think I have this figured out. And so my hope is that it's just a little bit snugger and tighter around the top and then just slowly flares a little bit down to my waist. And I think it'll look cute if it fits. If for some reason the decreases make it too small, which I just can't imagine it happening because I did try this on and it was too big. But if that happens, I feel much more comfortable ripping back halfway and re-knitting it without the decreases. I do think that the alternative or the kind of worst case scenario is that the decreases work and it makes it fit better up here, but then it looks silly because it kind of flares out unnecessarily down towards my waist. But I felt better about just forging ahead and trying my new plan rather than completely starting over. So basically the whole point is I really don't know how this is going to turn out, and it could be, a complete and total fail. It's also oh my gosh, how many issues do I have? The other thing is that I am knitting this with 2 strands of Knitting for Olive silk, pure silk. It's a fingering weight. It's basically the same weight as this cotton merino or in my pink shirt, but I'm holding it double to get a DK weight. Now, I wanted to do that because I wanted to be able to quickly knit a tank top rather than doing fingering weight again because this took forever. But, I mean, this is kind of a heavy DK weight fabric. And I'm like, is that really practical for a tank top? Like, is it? And I know the answer is no, so you don't even need to tell me. I know. But, yeah, this whole project is just an experiment. It's probably going to be done this week unless I just decide I hate it and put it down into timeout. No, I want to finish this and see if my experimental shaping is going to work or not. And if it's really just going to be too heavy to wear this much, fabric in the summer. Yeah. So what else do I need to say? I'm knitting this at a DK weight on size 6, 4.0 millimeter needles, 2 strands of knitting for Olive pure silk, June top by Petite Knit, and we'll see if this one turns out or not. Okay, the next project I have to show you is another summer garment. This one is crochet. It is the Peekaboo Cardigan by Mrs. J off the hook. Oh, I've forgotten her name. I'll put it on the screen. And yeah, as soon as I started having fit issues with the orange tank top, I was like, maybe I should start working on my Peekaboo Cardi again. And I could finish that ahead of flock. Guys, I'm distracting myself. I don't know why I think I have all the time in the world. I have less than 2 weeks till I leave for flock. But now all of a sudden I want to finish all my summer garments. So I pulled this one back out. I think I showed it to you a few weeks ago. I am knitting this with Barocco Modern Cotton, which is a worsted weight cotton bamboo viscose type blend. And I made a few pattern repeats. I think about 3 or 4 pattern repeats since I showed this to you last. I basically have about, I think, 5 more repeats to crochet before I split for the neck hole. So basically, I'm holding this up backwards, but basically this is the back and I'm knitting up, or I'm crocheting up over my shoulders, and then I'll split and then do the 2 fronts and the front half of the sleeves. So this is basically the whole back panel, just short a few more pattern repeats before it goes up over the shoulders. So this also could really be done, I think, with 4 or 5 more days of dedicated crochet time. So it is really possible to get it done. I'm just trying to decide if I would actually wear it, if it would be too warm, or I don't know, but I kind of want to finish it and see. So this is on my want to finish soon list. I also felt like it would be kind of cute over the June top, although I don't know if DK weight tank top with a worsted weight cardigan, even though it's lacy, would really be the best move for summer. Yeah, so we will see. I am using the recommended hook. I got gauge, and I told you my yarn. Yeah. If I ever forget to say anything about these projects, I always have my Ravelry project pages listed in the description box below, as well as links to like my favorite tools, supplies, yarns if I can link them. Anything I talk about, I try to reference or give you more information in the description box. Okay, earlier when I was talking about like hanging out with family, I completely forgot to mention like the most fun thing that I'm looking forward to that we're doing next weekend that I'm hoping I can film a little bit of. My mom found a local puzzle competition that's being hosted at a local senior sitter, and it's ages 5 to 100 and it's teams of I think 4 to 6 people. And so my mom and my sisters and I think Andy, my sister's middle son, who is also a puzzle fiend, he's also 6 years old. I think he's going to be our youngest contestant on our team. But yeah, we're going to do a family puzzle competition next weekend, and I can't wait. I think I've talked about like my love of Legos and jigsaw puzzles and those kind of like little fiddly things. Like I feel like a lot of crafters are probably into those kind of things too, right? Like there's nothing more satisfying than a jigsaw puzzle. And I have watched a lot of like puzzle competitions on YouTube. I don't know if anybody is familiar with Karen Puzzles, but she goes to like the World Puzzling Championships and films them, and they're fascinating to me. And so we've talked about that as a family because we all love jigsaw puzzles, and we've even like raced amongst ourselves, like with this, like we're ridiculous. So the fact that Mom found us a puzzle competition to sign up for, I can't wait. Wait. So that's next weekend. So I'm really looking forward to that. And hopefully I'll have some footage, or I'll at least give you a recap of it because I can't wait. Okay, so that was the knitting and the crochet, and I have one cross stitch project to share with you. Any guesses what it is? Surprise, surprise. It's my garden sampler. The only thing I can seem to stitch on because I love it. And because I was working so hard on getting this shirt done this week, I really didn't cross stitch that much. I had a goal to try to get to 60% complete. I was at like 51%, I think, last week when I showed it to you, but I'm only at 58% complete. So I didn't quite hit my goal, but I did get more progress on this beautiful project. Here is the garden sampler. I basically did all of the G, the grasshopper, the fern, the F, like all of this little section down here. Oh, it's so fun. This is a design by Carriage House Samplings. I am stitching mine on 36 count Picture This Plus doubloon. I'm using Roxy Floss overdyed flosses to stitch mine, and I'm absolutely in love with it. And I feel like the most boring stitcher in the world because I have all these other things I want to start and want to work on, and I literally cannot stitch on anything else right now. Like, I'm just kind of obsessed with getting this one completed this summer, and yeah, I feel like I'm just going to be a monogamous cross stitcher for a little while. I say that, and then next week watch me have like 3 new starts. But I've really just been wanting to work on this one lately. So that's what I've been doing, and I love it. Okay, let's go into our next segment, the PO box office hits. I don't know why I'm so pleased with that name I came up with, but I am. Let me open this before I just crinkle plastic at you. Okay, the Fat Quarter Shop sent me some of their new releases, and there are so many good things in this package they sent me. I'm gonna show you my favorites because they have some cool stuff that's releasing. The first thing I wanted to share is a new quilt pattern called Family Reunion. And the reason this one caught my eye is because it is, I feel like, so similar to my very simple picnic patchwork quilt, which just uses 2 blocks in a checkerboard pattern to create a really cool design. And I feel like this is a very similar vibe with slightly more complicated blocks. They've got this really cool multi 9-patch situation, and then this kind of, is it an Ohio star? I don't think it's quite a sawtooth star. I can't remember the name of that one, but it's a really cool look, and I thought that was a really cool quilt pattern. So this one's called Family Reunion, and it has crib size, lap size, and king size. Other thing is a brand new cross stitch from Lori Holt called Hometown Neighborhood Topiary House. So this is a series of houses she's doing, and this one's so pretty. I love the pink house. Brand new from Lori Holt. And then, oh my gosh, there are these 3 new quilt book things that I gotta show you. The first 2 are from Lori Holt, and first up is the Quilted Snowman. So cute. You probably saw last year the Quilted Witch that Lori Holt did that was amazing and I feel like was super popular. Now she has some other variations, and this one is the Quilted Snowman. So this is a quilt pattern, and it's awesome. It's so thick too. It's like a full-on book. I think I'm going to put this aside for like a dedicated quilt giveaway because amazing. I still have the Quilted Witch kit that I haven't started yet, so I know I won't be starting Quilted Snowman anytime soon, so I definitely think I'm going to put this aside for a giveaway. Also brand new from Lori Holt is Hometown Holiday Sampler, which is a quilt pattern that looks like a cross-stitch design, and it is so beautiful. So Christmassy, amazing. This uses her Hometown Holiday collection by Riley Blake, and oh, I love the little holly leaf border. Again, it's like a big, thick book of a pattern. I really want to make this. So pretty. Okay, that's Hometown Holiday. And then the piece de resistance, practicing my French for the French Olympics, you know. Halloween Memories by Susan Aki. And this is a quilt and cross-stitch book that has just been released by the FatQuarterShop, and it is gorgeous. Gorgeous. If you don't follow Susan Aki on Instagram, her handle is Yard Girl. I'll put it on the screen. And you should go follow her because her feed is so inspiring. She makes the most amazing quilts and she does beautiful cross stitch. And I have her book from last summer. I think it's like the Patriotic Summer, I can't think of the name. I'll put it on the screen. And I've done one of the cross stitches from there. And so this is the same concept where it's half quilts, half cross stitch. And I'll just do a little flip through of my favorites for you. Okay, so in order to not show the cross stitch charts, I'll just show you this page that has all of the cross stitch designs on it. And I think my favorite one is Dance Class with the little skeletons, or the little sugar skull, which is so cute. And then quilt wise, let me see, how many quilts are in this book? So there are 6 different quilts, and it looks like maybe 8 to 10 different cross stitch pieces. So you get a lot in this book. Oh, here's a good look at the quilts that are included in the book. I think the best picture of my favorite quilt, let me find the name of it, is on the back of the book. It's called Moonlight. It's so pretty, but you can see it best on the back of the book. It's this one right here. I just absolutely love the color she picked for this. Yeah, I'm just super delighted to have been gifted this book. Thank you so much, FatQuarterShop. I will have all of their new releases linked down in the description box in case anyone is interested in checking them out. Okay, so now to wrap up some old business. In the last video, I was giving away a copy of Forest, Cross Stitch in the Forest. I just was reading so many comments that said the word forest. I forgot the full name of the book. Cross Stitch in the Forest by Max Pigeon. So I did forget to pull a winner before I sat down. So the winner is, ding. And if that is you, please reach out to me. My email address is listed in the description box below, and I will get you in touch with the publisher who will send you your copy of the book. Thank you so much to Max and Page Street Publishing for sponsoring this giveaway. Okay, and with that, I think we've reached the end of the content I have for you this week. I think it was a little bit of a shorter one, but they can't all be exciting weeks, can they? Coming up, let's see, this upcoming week, oh, I'm also doing something fun tomorrow night with my dad. Maybe I can do a little bit of a what I craft in a week or a little bit of a vlog this week. We'll see how much interesting stuff I have. But tomorrow night, my dad and I are going to a furniture making class, specifically to learn how to make frames. And I'm very excited. I think it's like a 3-hour class at a local furniture shop. And I have no idea what to expect or how it's going to go. I've never really done woodworking. I have done DIY stuff. Like when I bought my first house, I did a lot of house projects that involved like a chop saw, but like it was never anything precision. It was like, you know, I don't know. I have a little bit of experience with tools, but not like carpentry skills per se. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm sure my dad will be good at it and I'll just be having a good time. So we're doing that Monday night. Saturday, we've got the puzzle competition, but Thursday will be fun because it is actually my parents' 45th wedding anniversary. Very exciting. And we're going out for a very nice fancy dinner. It's also my sister and her husband's anniversary the day before. I think is it their 12th anniversary? 11th or 12th? 11th, probably. I think it's 11th. Anyways. So all of my sister's spouses, parents, brother, I think we're just going to have a big family dinner to celebrate my parents' anniversary. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this week. And a couple of weeks from now, I will be in Seattle doing all kinds of yarn shopping. And I'm so excited. Like, cannot wait. So yeah, that's what's going on with me. It's just summer, work, family, knitting, cross stitch. Oh, I forgot about sewing. Okay, I didn't really do that much sewing. Literally, I sewed 4 seams, 5 seams. It doesn't matter. I sewed a tiny, tiny bit this week and I kind of had a sewing fail. this is the panel that I had quilted last week in the video. And this was the piece that I basically quilted with no plan. I was like, let me just make a panel. I'll figure it out later. Well, of course, now that I'm figuring it out later, I've realized I've made a mistake. The Kato bag pattern actually looks like this. So my friend Bridgen, the museum stitcher, she made me this lovely Kato bag and gifted it to me at StitchCon. And I have made it for myself before. My version is right over there with a shawl project in it. And yeah, so I was like, okay, yeah, I'll make a Kato bag with this. And so I cut it out and I was like, let me just sew the shell together because this is the first step, to sew the side seams and the little boxed corner bottom. But what I realized is that I quilted my two pieces together, meaning that this is the inside, but the Kato bag has visible seams and it uses a lining, like an additional lining piece to cover these seams. And basically that means you're not going to see my super cute red and white heart fabric. And so I used this fabric, like I kind of wasted it basically, because I'm going to have to line this bag so that you don't see the exposed seams. And if I had just thought about what I was going to do before I started quilting, I could have avoided this. So I'm kind of annoyed at myself that I used and wasted this super cute red and white fabric because I really don't have any more of it. I have the scraps I cut, you know, to cut this out, but yeah, that's it. Not enough to do the lining. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure I have something in my stash that's fun and red and will match great, but I'm just kind of annoyed at myself that I didn't really make a plan before I started. And that I wasted this fabric when I should have just done it on like a plain solid muslin or just some fabric I didn't care about that would be covered. Because that is how I did the bags that I had already done for myself before, but that's okay. A little bit of an error, but I will sort it out. So that's why I like made it this far and then set this aside because I was like, shoot, I got to pick a different lining fabric. The other bag I quilted, I just got everything cut out, which I think I had done previous to last week's video, and it's just sitting here. I just need to cut out the binding and the handles and get that one sewn together, and it should be super quick. But yeah, other than that, I didn't do any sewing this week. Maybe this week is the week. Maybe I'll finally get back in here and work on my picnic patchwork quilt, but who knows? We'll see. Okay, I think that's where I'm going to leave you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.